So once again, welcome to the second part of our course. I started recording this, and in the second part, I'm going to introduce you some of the tools that we can use in the management. Before I pass that, Ravand, I think you had a question. You can talk if you want.
Yes, it was my second question was about false advertisement. And you talk about advertising actually, and you saw that you say that so many companies when they make advertisement they can just get away from it, and nobody
Yes.
like can sue them everything. So if this false advertisement is gonna destroy the trust of the users, isn't it?
It
Why
does,
they are,
yes. To some extent, it does.
but why so many users are still, so many companies are still doing this false advertisement, and they are still getting money from it. Like for example,
The thing all comes back to the Amazon case. I mean, most people actually aware of how evil Amazon is. Like, especially in the last 10 years, they have like the gigantic evil corporation thing. The way that they are trying to earn money right now is like insane to me. The way that they are trying to looking this as a very cooperative, very evil organization way is just very, very scary to me, to replacing people AI and stuff. But what Amazon is actually not losing money, because they are an evil corporation. They every year they increase uh, their profit, because we go on Amazon, we buy stuff that we don't need from Amazon, and I know how Amazon works to some extent more than the average user, but I still use it because the thing is I don't have any other choice. What can I do? Like if there is a stuff that I need to use that tool. There is no other alternative for me. Such as I have a master student, and he's doing his master on virtual reality, and he needed glasses. And what I did was I ordered it from Amazon because I couldn't find it in Cyprus. We live in an island. The opportunities for me here are very limited, as you know. I can't find the virtual glasses I need. I order it from Amazon. I get it. I go to Greek side. I get it. I come back. It's just that just because something is evil doesn't stop people from getting what they want. So as long as people use these tools, they wouldn't care. This is all comes back to where the society is going, rather than something specific to software engineering. I think it happens in every single industry right now. It's not something related to our industry. But what happens with the false advertisement is that if you actually false advertise a microwave, people see you, people get you your money, and they will probably earn from you. But with our field, this is a very, very rare case. And one of them is that one of the reasons why this happens is that you just put a small text there and tell the people that this is not the finalized version. Changes are subjected to happen when the product is being advertised. And then you just get away from it, because the laws regarding interactive media or software engineering is subject to change, because technology changes so fast, so much that the laws available there, they cannot catch up with the technology. Okay, right now I don't know any country that applies the AI, for example, laws. If there would be a law out there that companies shouldn't really try to replace their own employees with AIs, maybe Amazon wouldn't do that. But because there is no law to protect those people, they just say that, sorry, but your efforts are not needed anymore. We are replacing you with some AI. So I need to ask you to leave because I don't need you anymore. And that's how business work. Okay. That is the
okay,
answer of your question. Like, because the way that the technology, how fast the technology changes, the law cannot catch up with it, cannot catch up with the technology. So people, the companies out there use this as an opportunity to increase their profit.
yes. So one last thing I would like to ask. So you said because of the law situation, because the law cannot catch
I
for
can
the.
barely hear you. Can you please get close to your microphone?
Now you can hear me, sir. Can you
Yes.
hear me now? Okay. So I heard about it that you just said about the law, because law cannot catch everything for this advertisement. They cannot put a rules for it. What my question, like, what about the companies who's making the advertisement? Do they put a rule for the fake advertisement, or they just don't care? They just want to get the money?
It's a way
Because
of showing off. There's a lot of decisions taken in the management. It might not be the developer's choice to advertise in that regard. It might be a
I mean,
management
YouTube,
choice.
as I saw from YouTube, they are making a lot of fake advertisement. Like I saw one of the games, it was called like yesterday, and I saw a game called Garden Escape. You see in the advertisement is really, really like something nice, but when you play the game, it's totally different from the advertisement. Like YouTube doesn't care about this; they just want just
YouTube
advertise.
has nothing to do with that advertisement. You cannot blame YouTube because YouTube is a tool in that regard. I'm not saying that YouTube is like good, but what I'm saying is that basically the game companies is a very competitive market. First of all, making a game is not an easy thing. Trust me, I made a couple of games in the past. I know how difficult it can get. It's very stressful, especially when you have to manage many activities in game environment. It's an incredibly stressful thing. There's a huge market out there, but the thing is, the market is getting smaller for those companies. So they are doing whatever they can to take the attention of users and to bring users to their into their regular user base so that they can increase their profit. The way that they get avoid with this, as I told you, watch that advertisement at some point, at some place. If the graphics are not with the same game, or if there is something out there, it will actually say this is an interactive demo, or it will say this is not the computer graphics, or it will say something like this is subject to change, or this is not the final version, or this is just a trailer, not game graphics. Something like that should be mentioned there, okay? And when they do that, they can get away with it because there is no strict law, like I said, that indicates in any country that you shouldn't advertise your product like that. It could be a demo or an interactive video in the game, and they use that to take the attention. Okay, it's like basically you go to watch a trailer of the movie and you get hyped because you watch a trailer, but then you watch a movie, but and it has nothing to do with the trailer. They actually show you the best parts in the trailer, so you didn't even need to watch the movie. It's something like that. Okay, the laws are not really well established, and they are not catching up. So in that regards, for movie business is more established, but for our field, because it's changing so rapidly, it's not going to catch up in any time soon. Like, I don't know any country that has rules about AI. Please, if you do so, let me know. Otherwise, I don't think AI would go into such extent that they will actually lay off 63% of people working in the company and replace them so that they will increase like $23 billion. Like if I give you $1 billion, you wouldn't even be able to spend it for the rest of your life. Like, what are they gonna do with that money? I really don't understand it. It's to me, it's just beyond comprehension. But of course, that is probably why I'm a lecturer and not a cooperative giant. Okay, because I don't understand from business. In any way, let's go back to the topic. So I'm going to show you some of the case tools that people use to basically control over some of these activities. There are many tools that you can use to manage these activities, even though managing people, tasks, variations, scheduled projects could be difficult. Luckily, we have tools at our hand that we can help us. These tools are called computer-aided software engineering tools, simply referred to as CASE. One of the most important tools that are used in our industry is called version control systems. Version control systems allow multiple people to work on the same project and keep track at the final version of a software from basically to make sure that the final version is up to date. And it also allows you to track the changes made by multiple team members so that you will know who changed what at what time and which version was the last. The most popular version control system that we use today is called Git, and it was basically originally a console command system, and in time this evolved even further, became what we call as GitHub right now, with a client interface. Now Git is still used, many people still use the console statements such as pull and whatsoever, but also the interface helps out people to organize the managers, particularly to organize activities, to track down the latest versions, to see what changes have been done over the project, and so forth. There are also many graphical editors that you can manage design entities, design activities, such as activity network diagram, which I was about to show you today, but I think we will run out of time. There's something called many tools like project management tools, which you can basically use to organize these activities. The one that I use right now is called Lucid Chart. So by next lecture, you can examine it. This is a free version of the tool, and we're going to use this tool in the next lecture. So have a look at it after this lecture. And what we're going to do with this is that we're going to draw our activity diagram. This is a tool that allows you to draw a series of diagrams related to our field, related to software engineering, such as cloud architecture diagrams, database diagrams, system diagrams, flow charts, even Gantt charts, timelines, and plan and tracking projects. So many of the tasks that you can perform can be supported with these tools so that you can use them to organize your activities. Okay, so yes, managing people, activities, and keeping track of everything is extremely difficult, but luckily we have tools at our hand that can help us. We already talked about version control systems. Now you're gonna basically use one in your project as well. So you will learn it more and more in your project. So GitHub is the most popular and widely used one today. There are others, but they're not as popular as GitHub. It's a very popular tool, especially in the last couple of years. It is being used since early 2000s, I think, but for the last couple of years, it got really, really popular now. Even when you look for code like samples, like those that you see in Stack Overflow, sometimes you will be directed to a GitHub wiki page that you can see the codes there, the solution of a specific problem. So it got much more than a version control system now. It formed kind of like a wiki page on its own, similar to Stack Overflow, where people can discuss the problems that they suffer, other stuff, other problems, or they can even contribute and work in open source projects themselves. So with the software project planning, we're gonna basically spend some time on three important tasks. We're gonna see how software managers use special tools to organize these activities, such as we're gonna see project constraints. We're gonna see parameters to define these projects, such as task, duration, and dependencies. This is a subject I like to spend some time tomorrow, because we have a class on tomorrow. But basically what we're gonna do in here is that we're gonna generate a specific graph called activity network diagram to allow us to get task, duration, and dependencies, and generate the estimated time for a project to be finished. Okay, the actual time and the estimated time can be calculated through using activity network diagrams. And we're gonna look up the Lucid chart to do that. I actually prepared one myself already. So I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to draw it through here, through Lucid Chart tomorrow, and you'll be able to see how you can draw these diagrams yourself. And hopefully they will have some use to you in the future. But before drawing these diagrams, you might know some differences in between milestones and deliverables. Basically, there are two important concepts in project. One of them is called milestone. The other one is a deliverable. The difference is that when you reach to a milestone, it acts like a save point for you. Just like how you save your progress in a Word file or in a game. When you play, you have a save location or a save file, and you can, when you come back to project, you can or your game, you can start from there. At each milestone, there needs to be a formal output, such as a report that can be represented to management. So a milestone is a recognizable endpoint of a project, of a software process activity. A deliverable, however, is a project result. So this is something delivered to the customer. Now, you need to know the difference that a milestone is not necessarily that goes to the customer. It could be a point that you reach in the project and you generate a result, but the result is only available to the developers themselves. A deliverable, however, is kind of like a version, let's say, that goes to the customer. It is usually delivered at the end of some major project phase. For example, if you are developing an app and you integrated the feature where users can now communicate and see each other in that software, but the software itself was supposed to do much more than that, and you only completed that aspect, that can be regarded as a deliverable. So in this scenario, you should know that a deliverable is always a milestone, but a milestone is not necessarily a deliverable. Okay? So basically, when you reach to a deliverable, you actually reach to a milestone. But when a deliverable, when a milestone is reached, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a deliverable. So it's not necessarily going to go to the customer itself. So what happens when milestones are not set and deliveries are not assigned during the project? Well, what happens is that you basically scream. Just like you didn't save your progress in a game for 3 hours, 4 hours, and you realize that now when you load the game, you have to start from 3 hours earlier, which you already passed and which pisses you off. The same example can be given from a Word document that you are writing a project and suddenly you realize that you didn't save and your computer restarted because of a power cut, and you realize that all the stuff that you have written down for the last 3 hours is gone. Well done. So that's what happens when you do not save your work. And the same goes with the deliverables and milestones. When you do not set them up in the project, it causes results that people have to restart from the point that they already achieved. And it is something that, of course, pisses you off. So these have to be arranged very well. And it is part of the project scheduling. One of the most important difficult job for project management is to make sure that the time and the resources required for that project is actually matching with the activities themselves. In other words, experience does not always count in software engineering, but what makes the difference is setting up and making sure that these are going to be matched, okay? Making it very difficult from our fields. So we can use, as I told you, activity network diagram, which I intend to use by next lecture. How it happens is that you identify the dependencies, so which tasks depend on which task. You define the task themselves. You define the dependencies. You define the people are assigned to the task. You define how much time you require for those tasks to be completed. So let's say that we have a task of completing user interface. Now user interface is going to be completed by Ahmed and Darlington. And we need, let's say, 3 weeks to complete user interface. So I allocate time. And from there, I say that in order for user interface is to be completed, Fatih has to complete user research. So I depend that task to another task so that one task follows the other. Once you have assigned this general project scheduling process, you go into the next stage where you can divide these tasks and calculate the estimated time. What we know about the estimated time is using a strategy to calculate that things go wrong in the wrong direction. This means that usually you add 30% to your original estimate or anticipated problem and another 20% to cover things you have never thought of. So you have around 30 more to cover up anticipated problems for maintenance, such as fixing the last bugs, making sure that the application is integrated, stuff like that. And another 20% for things that you did not consider and you need more time to apply. So overall, 50% more to the overall estimated time should be added in order to generate the activity network diagram. The minimum time required to finish a project that can be estimated is considered as the critical path. So whenever you want to calculate this, we call this the critical path. I'm going to stop in here. By next lecture, we're going to use this tool that I just showed you, Lucid Graph, and we will generate our activity network diagram to see how you can calculate this. So this is where I'm going to stop for today. We have a lecture for tomorrow. Please make sure to upload your project task, and hopefully I'll have a look tomorrow before I come to the class, and I can basically list down the people who needs to change their topic. All right. I have 10 minutes more. If you want to ask any questions, I can listen to you. Always the same people are talking though. Yes, Ravant.
Sorry, sir, if I am talking too much or something. I was like, I want to ask you about the project, which is the project which we are doing it. In the student form, we are talking about, for example, what we are going to use and which project we are going to choose, right?
Yes.
But there is a problem, which is we calculate that what we are going to do and what we are going to use, okay? But when we came to responsibility, we couldn't decide like which person should be responsible. This one, which one will be responsible? This one. So I submit the form. I wrote my name and what we are going to create and which project we choose, because the last time you said that choose between three, like 2 or 3, so maybe one of them will not be available.
Yes.
But we didn't know the responsibility, because
the responsibilities are always clear for the work. Usually, like you have to basically assign a business designer or business tester. You get the responsibilities from the model that you select. Like, for example, if you're going to select Scrum, there has to be Scrum Master. There has to be developers that will do the sprints. So you look into the model you select, then you assign the actual responsibilities. So if I don't know which agile model you chose, how can I know what are your responsibilities? So you do your research, gentlemen, before you make a selection. Like if you're going to select a Scrum strict model, so just going to follow Scrum, then one has to be the Scrum Master, right? We already discussed about this. How can I know what kind of responsibilities you will have before I know the model? Okay, so basically the last week you were supposed to select first your agile model. Once you selected your agile model, you are supposed to then assign the task on people. All right, so you should have looked into the Scrum, make a research on the internet, see what kind of responsibilities are assigned in a Scrum, assign them to people, and then write your topic. This is why I gave you a week.
Yes, and you even give us a week to try the tools for GitHub and GitLab.
Yes,
and the other
exactly.
tools. So we try.
So okay. I'm gonna look at it now. I can't tell you anything. Okay, it's like pointless to discuss this right now. I will have to look at what you submitted and then get back to you. All right?
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very
Ahmed.
much.
Yes, sir. Like I heard that we're gonna have midterm exam. Is that true or not?
Where do you hear this stuff? Can I learn it, please?
I don't know. Like they posted on
Who tells you
some
this
page.
stuff? Where do you hear it? Who told you? Can you please tell me?
So I heard it too. It's not like from
Yeah.
I heard from some people they were having
Like,
conversations.
who are these people? Tell me, then I'll tell you. I heard
No,
this.
like,
I heard that I have $1 billion in my bank account, so I'm gonna give up my job.
And I'm just asking, sir.
Okay, look,
So
if
the
there
reason we
is
are
something
asking,
that you should know, I will announce it to you on Moodle, okay? If
Dr.
I
Chan,
know something, I will announce it to you so you will learn. So stop gossiping, stop reading fake news, stop whatever you are doing. If we know
You are
something,
not.
our official paid gentleman is Moodle. If I know something, if I decide to make an exam, you will learn it on Moodle. Okay, just like the way that I gave you the project. You knew you had a project, I announced the date, I even gave you a proper explanation, proper documentation, uploads, whatsoever.
No, I
Okay,
mean maybe you are not. Okay, okay.
this
Thank
is
you.
how I work. You have taken several classes from me. Have I done something up to today that was a big surprise to you? Huh? I always announce my quizzes. I always announce my project in advance, and I usually give you a month to finish it. A fair time to do it, isn't it, Ahmed?
Yeah.
Okay. Then if I
It is,
decide
yeah.
to have an exam, you will know it. And trust me, you will have a month at least to prepare for it. Okay? So stop creating conspiracy theories or gossips, please. If
But
I know
I
something, I will announce it to you on Moodle.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? I am under 4 minutes now. I need to stop this lecture. If you have one more question, I can take it.
Yes. Sorry, Dr. Key, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. My own question about the tools that is uses for software project management. Have any criteria to decide uses a specific tool for software management in an organization, for example, according the type of the product and so on?
Very good question. You need to look into the agile model you pick up. If you pick up Kanban, for example, you need to definitely use a Kanban support. There is no other alternative for you. This is why I suggested you to try all tools and then select a model for you, select an agile model. Assume that you are following only Kanban and that's it. You're not going to mix it up with Scrum, but you're going to do it in an iterative cycle. Then you need to select a tool that has strictly Kanban boards and even Kanban tokens, okay? So
Yes.
it all goes back which agile model you pick up. Again, if you select a Scrum model, you don't need a Kanban board. While you can use it, it is not something strictly applied to a Scrum. Instead, you can create the board yourself. Okay? So the answer to your question is the model, the agile model you select to use these tools.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm gonna end up the lecture today, and as usual, I will upload it on YouTube so you can watch it. I will meet with you tomorrow around 4:30. Okay. So don't forget that we have a lecture, and as I told you, if I know something, I will announce it to you, and you will know it. So take good care. This is the end of my lecture for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy.